Welcome back to my series on my free-to-play Wilderness Ultimate Ironman. We kind of left off at a place where I decided that I really just wasn't strong enough combat-wise to kill some monsters for resources. So at this point, I just decided I needed to just sit down and kill a bunch of rats so that I could self-sustain myself with food and get some combat training in. So that's what I did for a long time at this point. It's not the most exciting content, but I mean, I just had to get it out of the way. The early game is going to be a little bit rough just because of that. But I got some nice prayer training in, got some cooking training in, so it's not just training combat. So I'm training a lot of beneficial skills at the same time. If you notice there's a cabbage in my inventory, that was actually from an imp that I killed. So there are imps that can get in the wilderness via teleportation, so that's a pretty neat thing. Imps do have a few unique drops that are useful to me, such as a wizard's hat and also some like cooking supplies, so they do have some drops that are good. Now I just got 8 prayer at this point, which is great because that allows me to use the first of the range prayers. So that extra little 5% boost it gives may not seem like a lot, but when you hit 0 like 20 times in a row, I mean, that little 5% really does make a difference. Now right here I hit 12 cooking, which is a nice achievement. This is the second trip to rats for a full inventory of meat, so we're making good progress there. Last episode I kind of made the mistake of not actually showing like the level highlights. I wanted to fix that this episode, because I mean, levels are probably one of the most iconic things, you know, that's a part of RuneScape. So I wanted to make sure that I was actually showing, you know, what levels I had so that you guys could kind of keep up with where I am in the game. So today I want to talk about why I'm at zombies. You know, why am I going to zombies to kill them? Well, I made this nice little picture for you guys to look at. This includes some of the low-level monsters that I'm going to be killing. These aren't going to be, you know, high-level monsters. I think all of them are below 50 combat. The moss giants are the ones with the highest combat. But here's kind of a list of why I go to them. You know, a list of the loot that I get. So zombies, the ones I'm killing right now, drop copper ore, and they also drop runes. Now, the copper ore is pretty rare. I've actually done some testing with these and killed about 100 of them on my main, and I've yet to get a copper ore. So, it may be a myth, but according to the wiki, these guys drop copper ore. So until I get proven otherwise, I'm going to keep killing them. They're also great XP. I find that they don't really hit that hard, and they also have a lot of health, so you can do some decent training there, which is kind of the main reason why I'm there at the moment. Next we have skeletons. Now these guys drop bronze bars, the infamous bronze bar. This is going to be my primary smithing training, which is crazy. It's so ridiculous that I think that's the reason why I like it, is because like I have to go there and kill hundreds of these things for just a handful of bronze bars, and that's how I have to get my smithing up. I like the challenge. That's what it's exciting about this account. You know, this isn't going to be a main account that I'm going to get everything to 99 in or whatever. This is just a fun pastime for me, and I like the ridiculous challenge of surviving in the wilderness. As you can see, skeletons also drop runes. I mean, they're pretty good. Not quite as good as zombies in terms of runes, but you still get some goodies. And moss giants probably have the best drop table in terms of items. Now, I don't really want to go into too much depth with the moss giant drop table today, but I will say they drop the mithril sword, which is going to be the best weapon I can have until I can make a better one. And they also drop a handful of shields, which are all better than the terrible iron kite shield that I have right now. Right here, I get 15 cooking, which is exciting, because I can cook trout at this level, which is actually free-to-play content. Sadly, I can't actually make use of it because I am unable to fish on this account, as far as I know. There may be a method out there for catching fish, but I do not know of it. So, for right now, fishing is a dead skill for me. I noticed that there were a couple people just walking around out here, which is rare, because on free-to-play, you don't really see people like at these parts of the wilderness, especially north of the sawmill. So I ran a little west and I saw just this mass carnage going on. Apparently there was like a clan event, and there were just hundreds of people out here PKing, and I didn't really want any part of that. Thankfully I was low level, and most of like the peers on free-to-play are much higher level, like probably 50 to 60 range in terms of combat, but I'm like 20 combat at this point, so I was pretty much immune, but just to be safe, I did end up hopping worlds because I was like, you know what, I don't really want to walk through a couple hundred people PKing. Instead of going to zombies with my batch of food, I decided to go to Dark Wizards instead. Now these drop a lot of different runes, they also drop some decent magic gear. In fact, I think it's the best magic gear I can get. They drop a wizard hat and like a robe top. So that's a considerable amount of mage offense bonus that I'm going to need if I'm going to use magic for training. So the problem with these right now is that I don't really have a high enough magic level to tank their shots, because I think 70% of your magic defense is from your magic level and only 30% is from your defense level. So I'm getting shredded by these guys. You can see like my health bar is already at like a third from just one of them. And these are the lower level ones too. If I get aggroed by a higher level one that shoots earth spells, it's going to just destroy me. But they do drop a lot of runes. I managed to get a staff off of them, which will be kind of like, it'll tide me over until I get a later staff, hint hint. But yeah, I just can't sustain killing these guys for long enough to make it worthwhile. But I wanted to come here and test it anyway, because, you know, it's good to get some variety. I don't want to just kill zombies all day long. It gets boring. I wanted to test out a few different monsters. Since I was now out of food, it was time to get some more. And best location was just to the north at the ruins. Another rat spawn. I think there's basically only two. The one just above the sawmill near Varrock, and then there's also these ruins. I guess it's where the crazy archaeologist spawns, isn't it? Yeah, these ruins. So I got lucky here and got a random event with the mysterious man. I was like, oh my gosh, is this going to be a maze random? I was so excited. Turns out he just wanted to give me some GP, which is a shame. The maze randoms are going to be fantastic if I can get some, because you can get literally hundreds of chaos and death runes from it, which is just utterly amazing for this account. There's nothing that parallels that. So if I can get lucky with one of those events, we'll be in really, really good shape. Just cooking the rest of the rat meat right here before I head off to a new location that I haven't been before. It's a very exciting location. It's the place where I'm going to be gathering runes to train magic. This is, of course, the Dark Warriors Fortress. It's just south of the bandit camp. It's the place where you get like a clue scroll to all the time. There's like a crate in the center. But there's also spawns of runes, many runes actually. 7 different types of runes. The 4 elemental runes, bodies, minds, and chaos. So it's a fantastic place to gather runes, and this is where I'm going to be gathering runes. This is, as far as I'm aware, this is the meta for magic training. This seems like an appropriate time for me to show you my diagram of item spawns in the wilderness. So these are basically all the items that I've deemed valuable enough to pick up. And these are, of course, all in the wilderness, with the exception of that wooden square shield just south of the wilderness ditch. But I think I can telegraph that. We'll talk about that more later. So the places that I've been so far are Iron Scimitar spawn. I have briefly passed the Boneyard. I've also gotten the Iron Kite Shield spawn. I've been to the Steel Plate Lake spawn in the ruins. I have been to the Iron Bar spawn. I've been to the Crossbow spawn. I've been to the Bronze Bolts. And I've also been to the Bandit Camp to get the tomato and cheese there. And now I'm going to the Dark Warriors Fortress to pick up the runes. Now the runes at the Dark Warriors Fortress, they come in like batches of 5 each for each type. The only thing is, the Chaos runes take twice as long to respawn. So you basically do like, you get 10 of each type of rune per 5 Chaos runes. So, I mean, I guess you get half the amount of Chaos runes in the end. It's still really good though. There's a lot of useful runes there. You know, the body runes can be used for training curse spells, and the other runes are basically just for combat spells. So let's talk about a few of the spawns that I want to get to in the near future in this episode. As you can see in the lava maze, there are 2 really good spawns there. One of them is the Staff of Earth, and this is fantastic for magic training because, I mean, to not have to use Earth runes is a pretty big deal. You know, it really adds up when you're casting a lot of different spells that use Earth runes. Plus, you get that 10 extra magic accuracy and the auto-cast feature, which is quite convenient. And it doesn't really take up an extra inventory space because you just replace the Earth runes in your inventory with the staff. And then there's also the Steel Plate Lake, or Steel Plate Body spawn rather, and that is pretty much my best plate body or top or whatever for now for melee. It's quite good. It's quite a bit better than the just the Ultimate Ironman top or whatever you want to call that. So I plan on making a trip there shortly after I gather these runes. There's a few other spawns in the wilderness that are pretty useful, like the gold ore spawn in the ruins are also really good because it's right next to a furnace, and I can just haul that over to the furnace and smelt it once I get 40 smithing. So that's actually a considerable way to train smithing past level 40. I might do that. We'll see if it's faster than the iron bar spawn method once I hit 15, but you know, that just needs some testing, that's all. There's also a nature rune spawn in like that tiny little island. Actually, I don't even know if that's right, or if it's on Lava Dragon Island. I'm pretty sure that's the right island. It's kind of near where Callisto is. You can telegrab those, so in the future, if I start superheating stuff, or alching items, I can basically trade my law runes to go get natures. And it's really good. The only problem with it is, I think there's PKers there, because a lot of bots will go there, or not just bots, but a lot of free-to-play players will go there to make money, because, I mean, you turn one law into, like, 2 or 3 nats every time. That's pure profit. My method of collecting runes also involved killing these dark warriors on the side, because, I mean, I'm going to be waiting here most of the time. I could have world topped, I guess, but I decided I'd rather spend that time training my melee stats even further, because that's kind of a big deal. You know, survivability in the wilderness is a pretty big deal when, if you die, you lose everything. You know, on Ultimate Ironman, that's the case. So right here, I got 20 HP. That's awesome. It's a good start. It's definitely a good start. I think free-to-play spells max out at like 16 damage, and Rune 2H is maxed out at like a little over 20. So having 20 health is good. Just in case we encounter any pures, it's nice to have a little meat shield in the way before I die. But yeah, Dark Warriors themselves actually have decent drops. I managed to get a black mace off of them, and I wasn't really sure if that was better than my Iron Scimitar at the time, because, I mean, yeah, it's a higher tier, but it's also a mace which is like 5 ticks. You know, attacks every 5 ticks, whereas the Scimitar attacks every 4. So I wasn't sure, but I thought I'd give it a go and test it out anyway, because, I mean, I figured most enemies in RuneScape, especially in free-to-play, are actually weak to crush. And it's so weird because most people use like slash and stab weapons. You know, those are the most common. Crush weapons really aren't that common, despite most of the enemies being weak to crush. So I thought I'd give it a go, especially like armored people. Those tend to be weak to crush. But anyway, the main purpose here is to gather runes. I'd like to try a world top method in the future. But the problem is, for the first 15 minutes, you do have to attack these guys because they're always aggroed on you, so you can't really avoid that. But in the future, I'd like to change that. So, attack level at 20, that's excellent because it allows me to wield mithril weaponry. That's going to be particularly handy in the future, especially since the highest tier drop for weapon we can get is mithril. So, that's going to be fantastic for equipping that mithril weapon. After I collected about 100 runes, I decided it was time to leave because I didn't want to spend too long here. I think that was like 30 minutes or so of collecting, so it was a long time for just 100 of each rune and only 50 chaos. It's like, oh, that's painful. But I figured it was time to go to the lava maze. There are 2 main objectives for me in the lava maze. One of them is to get the earth staff, and the second one is to get the steel plate body. The earth staff's the only elemental staff I can actually get on this account, as far as I know. So it's going to be really nice for auto-casting and saving runes, which obviously you saw how long it takes to collect them. So being able to save any amount of runes is actually a pretty big deal. This place is pretty dangerous, though, because you have to deal with PKers, especially at the steel plate body spawn, because there you'll often get a lot of players in free-to-play hopping around collecting them, because the steel plate bodies are worth about 1k each. So anywhere where there's players hopping to pick up items in the wilderness, there's also going to be PKers there to kill them. So I was actually pretty afraid at this point. My food was lackluster as well. I mean, I only have 9 food on me. Each of them heals 3, so that's only 27 health. That's not very much. If I get snared, I'm pretty much dead. The Staff of Earth was actually there. That's quite exciting. I was kind of expecting it to be taken, but I guess it's not worth enough for players to bother with taking it for profit. The steel plate body was not there, though, which is a problem. It spawns right next to the muddy chest, but just from that view, I could see that it wasn't there. So next episode, we'll pick right up with trying to hunt down that steel plate body. Hopefully we won't get killed. That's the plan. I had my finger over the logout button like half the time because I was like, PK is going to log in. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. See you guys later with the next episode. Thanks.